Similar to the relationship between trigger.new and trigger.old, there's one more relationship in Apex triggers context variables, and that is trigger.new map and trigger.old map. The fourth context variable in Apex trigger is trigger.old map. Trigger.old map, again, you know it. I know you guessed it right. Returns a map which includes the ID as well as the sObject records, but with the older version of those sObject records. That's the only difference. Trigger.new map returns a map which includes the ID and along with that the sObject records, because of which the record or the trigger execution got initiated. And trigger.old map returns IDs along with the sObjects, which are the older versions of the records because of which the trigger execution got initiated. So that's the basic difference, and the difference is exactly similar to the difference between trigger.new and trigger.old, which was it used to return the newer sObjects and it used to return the older version of the sObjects, but in a list format. But when it comes to trigger.new map and trigger.old map, it comes in the form of a map which includes IDs, which is basically the record ID, and the sObjects. So now in order to explain you how and when to use trigger.old map, I'm using the same exact problem that we had in trigger.old. Not the problem, yeah, but the scenario which we wanted to implement in trigger.old, using trigger.old in the earlier example. And that was, whenever the amount of an opportunity gets changed or gets updated, there should be a message that amount cannot be changed, which needs to be shown over there. And in order to do that, I think this is the code that we wrote down. Yes, right? And in this, if I'll ask you what exactly is the complexity of this particular program, then probably the answer would come as big O of n square. Why n square? Because inside a loop there is another loop. So that increases the complexity of the particular program, and while increasing the complexity of that particular program, it gets difficult. Why? Because for every record, for every old record, we are going through the complete list of the every new record, and I don't think that's the right way to do it. We can just do it with a single loop as well, but in order to do that, we need something to match up the IDs, and for that we have got maps. So in this program, all what we will be doing is we'll be using new map and old map to compare both the IDs, and from that we'll be getting the sObjects and we'll compare the amount, and if it is different than anything, then the earlier one, if it is different now than the earlier one, then in that case we'll just show an error. Let's have a look in the code, at the code. Okay, so over here we have initiated a map or declared a map and defined it as well, and then we have written down omap is equal to trigger.old map, and then I've written down for opportunity new op, this is just a reference variable, and then trigger.new, which is nothing but a list, list of the records because of which the execution of this trigger got initiated, and we are just assigning the each opportunity into this old opportunity, and all what we are doing over here is new opportunity dot amount is not equals to old opportunity dot amount, and how we are able to get the old opportunity. So let's have a look over here. With the help of get method, omap dot get bracket new op dot id. So that's how we are doing it. We are just passing the ID, which is just a reference to that particular sObject in that map, and that map is what we have stored in omap already with the help of trigger.old map context variable, and this is something, the old opportunity will come over here, and now we'll just compare the amount field's value in the new opportunity and in the old opportunity. That's all what we are doing. Let me explain it to you once again. We have got the new opportunity from the trigger.new list itself. We do not need a map for that. To get the old opportunity, what we need to do is we need the ID, right? And we have got that ID from the new opportunity itself. We are just passing it to the map, which is called as omap, which we have got from trigger.old map. It's just a reference to trigger.old map. And inside the get method, we are just passing that record ID to get that record from the old map. And after that, we are just comparing the amount field's value, and if it is not same, all what we are doing is we are just adding error. Amount cannot be changed. Okay, and this is a trigger exception, and that's it. That's all what we are doing over here. So in order to show you the difference between both of these, I have changed a little bit in the error which needs to be shown onto the opportunity record while we are updating it. Over here its amount cannot be changed, and in the earlier trigger it was are you serious amount cannot be changed. So that's the only difference, so that you can figure out which trigger is actually executing when we are trying to change the amount of a particular opportunity. So let's go back to the opportunity record which we created. Sell 80 coolers, let's go back to the same record and edit it. 1, and we'll try to save it. Amount cannot be changed, right? So this is an error which is coming with this old with a newer trigger rather than the older trigger. But you must be thinking that why isn't there an ambiguity between both of these triggers, right? Any of these triggers could be executed because they both are written onto the opportunity object itself. So which one is executing first and which one is executing last, or is there or both of them are both of them actually executing when we are updating this opportunity record? So let me tell you one thing. I have deactivated the earlier Apex trigger that I have written down, and the only trigger which is active right now is Apex trigger 7, which is the updated one with the trigger.oldmap thing. This Apex trigger 5 with the trigger.old context variable is something that I have already deactivated. But let's say if both of them are active, then in that case what do you think or which one do you think will get executed first? Will it be Apex trigger 5 or will it be Apex trigger 7? No one can predict. Actually, no one can predict which trigger will get executed first and which will not, which will get executed last if the trigger events on that particular object are the same. So that's one of the big problems that we have with Apex triggers. We'll understand it later on in this video series itself, that how we can actually come up with a turnaround to set the flow of the triggers or set the execution flow in the case of triggers coming up. But for now, this is exactly what is important. That is trigger.oldmap context variable. And I hope you got the idea why we use it and how we use it, isn't it? Of course you got it, I know that. And by the way, this context variable, trigger.oldmap, or this map is only available in update and delete triggers, no other triggers.